Hi guys, it's Kathy. I missed you a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So I just got back from Houston. Fozzie drove me everywhere. I didn't even know he was picking me up. I didn't tell anybody what time I was going to be there, so I was just going to get off the plane and catch an Uber. And yep, Fozzie picked me up from the airport, and he got me to my hotel in time. And then after court was over today, he battled Houston traffic, whew, and got me to the airport. So I know Houston is huge, humongous. What, 4 million people? He just told me earlier today, and I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, Kelly. Kelly, I hope you're doing okay, Kelly. I was so close to you. I was so close to you, and I didn't get to see you. But, so, I drove to Philadelphia Airport to get to Houston. Okay, I left from Philadelphia Airport. Now, Philadelphia is not as big as Houston, but it's big. It has over 1 million people. And, like, when I was driving to Philadelphia Airport, it was like 3 a.m. So it wasn't in the middle of the day. But I literally had no cars on the road at all. At all. And that's a major city. I flew to Philadelphia Airport. There's 1 million people in Philadelphia, and like no traffic. And I made it easy. Then you get to Houston. 4 million people, 5 billion. I don't know. And there's like cars freaking everywhere. Everywhere. I just couldn't imagine. So I've driven in New York a lot, which is really bad. Really, 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 really bad. Manhattan, the Bronx, all of it. It's just very difficult to drive in. But, so is Houston. It's not New York bad, but it's damn close. Houston is spread out. Okay, where I was then. It was a lot of traffic. And, Fozzie lives in Texas, but he doesn't live in Houston, so, he navigated those weird streets like a champ. Oh man, I miss you guys. I want to talk to each and every one of you, but I can't. Because for the first time tonight, we're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook. We do that all the time. And we're streaming on Twitch. Oh my God, Jen. Jen is so amazing. I was in court with Jen. I was sitting with her. I was drinking with Jen. I was eating dinner with Jen. Jen brought her 2 friends, and oh my gosh, she was so much fun. And now she's going back to South Carolina, and I'm in Pennsylvania. Thank goodness I'm in Pennsylvania, because listen, Southerners, I know it's only March, but if you have any Northerners down there visiting you, they are not okay. Throw them a frickin' ice cube, please, because they're hot. It was hot in Houston. It was very hot, and people are walking around saying it's cold. And I was dying because it was so hot. It was like pressing down on me. It was like breathing through a straw because it was so hot. And then you go inside, and it's hot. They have the air conditioner going. No, there's the humidity is like super high. The humidity is like insane. There's no words to describe it, but man, it was hot. So yeah, if you have any Northerners, throw them an ice cube. Just throw it right at them. They'll love you for it. Hit them right in the head. They will love you for it. Hot. Oh yeah, pretty hot. All right, one quick more story before I get into this insane video that we're all going to watch together. I don't know how she did it. I still don't know how she did it. She told me the story of how it happened, and logically it made sense, but I don't know how Victoria did this, guys. I get to court 5. I'm watching the judge. I finally get to sit in the courtroom and watch a whole Friday docket. And it was amazing. It was so great. In person, we did a He Goes With You in person. It's real when you're in the courtroom. Like, we see it every day, but when you're sitting right there in the courtroom, that it gets real quick. He Goes With You. Whoa. The handcuffs come out and they're loud. And you don't know this, but that courtroom is quiet. It's like a library quiet. I don't know how we hear all this noise on the live stream. We hear all this noise, but in the courtroom, like, I didn't even want to whisper because I felt it would be too loud if I whispered. I did, but I didn't want to. Oh, he cut us off. That's fine. Yeah, we saw when he cut us off. That was fine. Yeah, I mean that might cause him problems. We don't. The last thing in the world ever I want to do is cause Judge Fleischer any problems, any more than we've already did. But yeah, he was great. He was not able to come out to lunch with us, but I don't know how Victoria did it, guys. She says to me, well, we're getting ready to leave the court. I got a surprise for you. Somebody's meeting us at the restaurant. And she said she will be there, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, it's Melissa. Who is it? I get to the restaurant, okay, and there's this huge long table set out for us because there's a whole bunch of people in our party, all right? And so I walk in, there's this huge long table, and sitting at the head of the table was this woman, all right? And so, I sit right at the first seat, right beside this woman. I don't know who she is, but I'm still sort of standing, sort of getting ready to sit down. Fozzie had to go past me to find a seat. And I look over, I'm like, okay, she looks familiar. And, and then I look over again. She looks familiar. She must have worked in one of the courtrooms. And then I look over again, and I was stunned. My hands went up to my face. Oh my God. And it was too late. I already picked my seat. I had to sit beside her. Oh my gosh, guys. Victoria invited Judge Juanita Jackson to lunch. And I sat beside her. Oh my gosh, we talked the whole time. She is amazing. She is amazing. And, I told her right away, I'm like, look, you need to get a microphone. I said, I can't show any of your stuff because you need to get a microphone. And I think she thought we didn't get her stuff because, like, she's not good enough or something. She's like, she didn't know why we weren't getting her stuff. But how? If Victoria came to visit me in Pennsylvania, there is zero chance I would be able to pull someone out of the air to surprise her at lunch. I went to Texas, and Victoria had a secret special guest star appearance at lunch. And no matter how cool I tell you she is, she's way cooler than that. Oh man, it was really great. It was really great. I had one more story, and I it's hard to talk to a camera. It really is. So I forget. So I'm sure I'll remember it. But we're going to go into this court case now. And I don't have the beginning. I have the beginning of this. I know, right? So beautiful. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're going to go into the court case. Which judge, Kelly? I just told you we were with 2 judges. Yeah. All right, no, we're going into this court case, okay? So we're starting sort of like I missed the very, very beginning. We don't have the opening statements or anything, but let me try to unravel this a little bit. This has been going on for 10 years now. These 2. So you're going to feel like this is Candace all over again. You're going to feel like this is Michael McDonald trial all over again. That's why I say it's the second most infuriating attorney ever, because no one can beat his attorney. They just can't. So we are jumping right into the mom's attorney talking to the guardian ad litem, and they're talking about what the father and his attorney have done to her. Okay? So that's where we're jumping in. The kids now, I think the youngest might be 16, I think. It's tangled. It's a tangled mess. It's 10 years. 10 years in the making. So, the custody issues aren't the problem now. What we're going in for first, there's a bunch of motions. It's just a bunch of motions hearings. The first one is the guardian ad litem wants paid. And the reason they have a guardian ad litem is 100% the father's fault. I'm just telling you that now. He was doing bad things and being a pain in the ass, and they had to get a guardian ad litem. It was his fault. The mother is nothing like Candace. You are not going to listen to this court case and think of her as innocent in any way. The father is not innocent in any way. So the parents are not innocent. But focus on the attorney. The father's attorney. So today we get to hear a little bit. But tomorrow, Dad's attorney is going to have Mom on stand on our stream tomorrow. And the judge just yells at this attorney the entire time. Because it's just bad. Bad. Alright, I didn't share my screen yet because I was so excited. I really missed you guys. I'm so glad to be here right now. Before we get started, just make sure there's nothing near you that you can throw at your screen. Because you're going to want to. Kelly, don't you dare scream. It's not custody. This has nothing to do with custody because the children are all, they're adults now except for the one. They're not fighting over custody. They're fighting over contempt of court. They're fighting over guardian ad litem fees. It's just the parents right now. It has nothing to do with children at all. I mean, you hear a little bit about children, but no, it's all about chaos. I don't stream on Saturdays, but I didn't close last night, so I can stream. And I couldn't wait another day. I missed you guys a lot. Alright, here we go. This is the guardian ad litem. This is Mom's attorney. And they are talking about what father and his attorney have done. That's where we jump right in at that. Okay?
By the father's behavior?
Correct.
And he was placed on supervised visits and supervised phone calls at that point?
Correct.
And that was based on your recommendation?
Yes.
So that second emergency hearing was as a result of Mr. Brigman's behavior?
Yes.
Okay. You had to supervise the calls between Mr. Brigman and his child, correct?
Yes, I had to. He would tape them and I would listen to them. At that point, I was driving to Liberty County at least once a week, so I would listen to them all the way there and all the way home.
Okay. And you also had to set up the supervised visitation, correct?
Pretty much, yes.
Right. Then there was another emergency when there was a motion hearing to clarify the role of the guardian ad litem, and this was in March of 2022. Do you recall that Mr. Schachter filed on behalf of his client a 96-page motion to remove you prior to?
Yep. He filed a 96-page motion to remove this guardian ad litem. But that's nothing, because he did it with every single person involved in his children or his wife. He went after everybody. A 96-page motion to remove her, and his lawyer comes up in a second and complains that she's mean to him. What? And there's one thing. I really have to apologize for this. There's nothing we can do about it, but the judge loves her bracelets. And every trial I get from her, she's jangling them, and they jangle the whole time. They never stop.
Hearing?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
That hearing was held over, I don't remember how many days or hours, but many.
I remember that.
Yeah. Did you have to prepare for that hearing?
Yes.
And did it require you to go through all of your file and all of your records to get ready for that?
Yes, as well as to reach out to the head guardian ad litem at the time, who I believe was Jill Cheeks, to make sure that I was in line with the guidelines set forth by the mediation center, who of course was the person who basically contracted and assigned guardian ad litems at that point.
And then you had to testify for hours at that hearing, correct?
That is correct.
What was the ultimate outcome of that motion?
I believe there was an order issued that stated that basically I had not done anything wrong and that I was to continue as guardian ad litem and set forth boundaries that had to do with behavior of the parents and contact between me and the parents.
That whole hearing, motion, all of that was caused by Mr. Brigman, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There was another emergency hearing. A lot of emergencies.
More emergencies than I've ever had in another case.
Okay. On May 3rd of 2022.
Correct.
And that was at your request because Mr. Brigman had interfered with custody and had been arrested.
Yes.
Okay. And you met with the children and their therapist and reported back to the court on that.
And law enforcement as well.
Okay. And was all that caused by Mr. Brigman?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You have reviewed over 10 hours of phone calls.
I would say that's on the low end, yes.
Those were all because you were ordered to do so by the court or instructed to do so by the court.
Yes.
And that was Mr. Brigman and his children.
Yes.
You have you interviewed over 45 people.
Yes.
And medical records, orthodontic records, school visits, and interviews with school personnel, correct?
Yes.
You had over 527 email exchanges with providers, witnesses, and schools, correct?
Correct.
You had to maintain an electronic safety plan. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what was the cause of the electronic safety plan?
After one of the emergency hearings, the father reached out to one of the children at school. And then there was also the overall fact that the father was sending information that was inappropriate to the children, such as, I believe, if the court will remember, the meme that had the hog-tied Hooters waitress saying, "Oh, I didn't realize Hooters does to go."
No, dude. No, you are being watched. Every single thing you're doing is being watched. And you send that meme to your children? Really? Really?
And some other
racially motivated statements in addition.
Okay. So having to get involved in an electronic safety plan was caused, again, by Mr. Brigman?
Again, yes.
Okay. Now, with all of this in mind, and in reading through the file and reading your motion, is there anything that Ms. Brigman did to expand the scope of your investigation?
No, she filled out the initial questionnaire. I mean, she was responsive when the emergencies would occur, but she was not creating the emergencies.
Did she do what you asked her to
Hi,
do?
guys.
Yes.
Did she communicate with you appropriately?
Yes, and in fact, when we were asked by Ms. Sullivan to even look into the supervisor, while she was hesitant, she still agreed to meet with me and the supervisor and allowed me to do my job, even though that she was very hesitant about using a supervisor that was recommended by the father, but she did everything that was asked of her.
And the supervisor that was recommended by the father was actually one of his tenants.
Yes.
And she still consented to that?
She still consented to it.
Okay. Ms. Musson, are you asking for $5,000? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes.
All right. And your motion, you said most of the additional hearings have been necessary due to the actions of the father.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Musson.
Any other questions, Mr. Schechter?
Yeah, just briefly, just to perfect the record. Verse 4.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Do you recall sending this December 19, 2022? Asking for clarification.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to tender 4.
Any objection?
Yeah, just have a look. I just need to have a look.
Then I'm going to hand you 5.
I don't object to 4, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted. 4 is admitted.
And then I'm handing you 5. You recall receiving this response where we made clear that there was still, or at least we conveyed our opinion as to whether or not we thought you were involved, shouldn't be involved, before the courts at Ms. Sullivan let us know that we needed to be going through you.
Understood. Yes.
Okay. And you recall that in here, us addressing the fact that there still was an overriding order, meaning my client did have some rights. You recall that?
Oh, I don't believe your client was ever stripped of all of his rights, so that would be correct.
Okay. So I'd like to tender 4.
4 is admitted.
No, 5. Sorry.
Any objection to 5?
No, Your Honor.
Plaintiff's 5 is admitted.
And then just to clarify that these cross paths with the courts.
To keep up with these exhibits, guys. Try to keep up. It's
6,
hard.
7, 6.
Yeah. That one.
So just to clarify, what was handed to me is exactly the same thing plus 1 page, correct?
If it has a response, yes. And then to hand you, I guess that's what, 7? Those. Now, ma'am, you said that, well, I hand you this one too. You recall this, which I believe is 7.
So 7 is the same as the same as the one that you just handed me. So so you handed me this one, and then you turned around and immediately handed me this one.
Oh, okay, that's here it is 7. Okay.
But it's also the exact same one as the one that you provided me earlier.
Okay.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. Start both, and they're both dated January 3rd, 5:17
So
p.m.
here's our new stuff. You recall receiving this from Mr. Brigham on February 2023?
In case you couldn't hear him mumbling, he just said, I'm going to make a new 7. Here's the new 7. He's already entered 7 into the record, and there was no objection. Now he's making a new 7.
Yes.
Okay. That one, which that's 7, and that would be, yeah, that's the new 7. Okay. Now, ma'am, I heard you.
Are you tendering though?
Yes.
So,
Did you see the court clerk? She's like, I got this. Here, gone 7, the new 7, right on top of it. I don't know how.
Exhibit 7, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
No, Mrs. Wilson, I just want to.
All right, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Mr. Johnson.
I'm sorry. No objection.
It's admitted.
Is my microphone working?
I don't think you were too far away.
I just want to clarify, you stated a few minutes ago that Mrs. Parker agreed to the post-trial supervisor, even though it was someone suggested by my client.
Yes.
So if I were to tell you that her messages to him was that she did not agree, and that the people that still had to supervise were the same EPAC supervisors who were not available, even in South Carolina, they had to go there, and that order still controlled, you're telling me that that's not what she told you? She told you it was approved?
No, I approved the supervisor.
You approved, okay. But you're not saying Mrs. Parker agreed to the supervisor.
I'm saying that Mrs. Parker, I asked her to meet with me and the supervisor so that she could get a feeling for the lady. We met on neutral territory, which was the church right there across from Boomie's, and Miss Parker complied with that. And then I approved the supervisor. When I called her to tell her that, she told me that she had removed herself from consideration, and that was the decision.
Are you aware that what she told my client was that she did not approve the supervisor?
And she may have, but that's contrary to me and her's professional relationship, because I even went so far as to recommend her as a supervisor to Judge Lenny Darden in the Liberty County Circuit, and to make those professional connections, so that would not match.
You didn't inform me that you approved her, did you?
No, because I was preparing to inform her when she informed me that she did not want to be the supervisor.
Okay. But as far as we knew, we didn't have nobody communicated to us whether we had an approved supervisor or not.
Because we didn't. She had removed herself from supervision consideration.
She's not here to testify, but what
And if she was, then she would likely tell you that what had happened was I told her she was approved, and she said that this case was above her pay grade, essentially, and she did not want to be involved.
What Mr. Johnson asked you, though, was Mrs. Parker agreed to this even though it was a person that he suggested. And you said, yeah.
I mean, she did everything. I mean, to me, she came to the meeting. She provided the documents I asked to talk to. She spoke with the supervisor, to my knowledge. But it was, again, my decision. And when I called to inform her that I was okay with it, and when I say her, I mean the supervisor, that's when I was told that she no longer wanted to be in consideration.
Either which way, if what was told to my client was that she would not approve the person, then that's not what your understanding was. Is that right?
Well, based on Ms. Sullivan's email, it was my decision to make, and I had told her that it was, the lady was absolutely seemed to be perfect.
So the guardian ad litem, this person right here, is the one who approves or does not approve a supervisor, not the parents. But this lawyer keeps saying that she, not his client, the wife, she didn't approve this supervisor, but she told you she did. Well, she doesn't get to approve or not. So it doesn't matter. And this supervisor never took the job. So it really, really doesn't matter. But he's about to say something to this guardian ad litem that's really going to make you all mad, mad, mad.
Fine to me.
And to be fair, after that, you consider yourself no longer really involved, correct?
Well, no other supervisors were brought forth to me that made any sense that were other than family members, so yes.
Well, you understand that in order to know that someone would have to look for another supervisor, they'd have to be aware that their supervisor couldn't do it or wasn't approved. So if you did not respond to me ever and let me know that, well, I approved her.
Well, Mr. Schachter,
This point has been made. Let's move on. You didn't know. You made your point.
Do you think it's reasonable, since you have been involved in this case, that when Mrs. Parker sent the child, Cole, to school in South Carolina, that she still insisted that an unavailable supervisor from Savannah and EPAC still had to be the ones that supervised at the school?
I believe that it was reasonable for her to demand a supervisor. I
didn't. That was my question. My question was the Savannah supervisors that no longer were available.
And my answer was, based on my knowledge of this case, a supervisor was still appropriate.
I didn't ask you about a supervisor.
But again, you are impugning knowledge to me that I did not have.
Okay, so assuming what I'm telling you is correct, that she was still insisting on unavailable supervisors that everyone knew were no longer available, that's who still had to supervise any visitation he had with the child in South Carolina at military school.
And I don't understand what that has anything to do with my bill because I was not involved in those conversations.
Well, you were involved in vetting supervisors, and you did represent, in response to Mr. Johnson, that Mrs. Parker had agreed to his supervisor, even though I'm telling you that what we have in writing is that she did not agree to it.
And that is possible, but the supervisor told me that she no longer agreed to be the supervisor.
All right, I've heard this multiple times. Move on, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Did you indicate that you would get back to me on the supervisor?
I'm sure I likely did, and I believe I did attempt to reach out to your office, but again, at that point,
let's be
there
frank.
was no further follow-up from your office about supervisors. I thought they went back to EPACT and they went back to using the supervisor that was approved.
Ma'am, I asked you and I wrote you correspondence asking you about the status, and I never got anything back from you. So you're telling me that you were trying to reach me?
So,
Could have
Mr.
responded to
Schachter, without seeing the full emails and the metadata, based on my information from you, I would not feel comfortable answering that question because I don't
Metadata?
necessarily. Yes.
I've already heard this, Mr. Schechter. You've made your point.
Okay.
You said you didn't know the person backed out. Got it. All right. Any other questions?
No further questions.
She don't
Anything
trust
else,
him at all.
Mr. Johnson? No, Your Honor. All right. Thank you, Ms. Mustin. You may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We missed a part. I don't know where it went. I don't know where it went. I missed a part. He kept telling this guardian ad litem how unprofessional and wrong she was for saying the children were her clients. She was calling the children her clients. Now remember, this was like 10 years ago. The children are older now. But he went off on her saying that that's not the law. The law does not state guardian ad litems have the children as their clients. The court does. The court is her client, not the children. I don't know how I missed that part. That part was so good. But the judge let him go on because she was done with him.
Thank you. I
All
will
the
get a
other
ruling out.
parties.
Yes, thank you. All right. So I can go ahead and tie this up. Any argument or any other evidence as it relates to Ms. Mustin's fees? And anybody have any objection to her being excused? Because
I have no objection to being excused.
Mr. Johnson? No, that's fine. All right, do you want to make any argument regarding the fees, whether the additional $5,000?
Yeah, I definitely will.
Jail, in addition to any apportionment of fees between the parties?
Yes, I definitely will.
All right, Mr. Schachter, what's your argument?
Get some rum, people. You're going to need it.
Your Honor, is detailed in our response, and the court may recall, and I understand the court giving deference to guardian ad litems in the program, but we submitted a motion to remove the guardian ad litem. I think it was well-based. I swear, at least to my representations in terms of correspondence in text messages with the guardian ad litem, she displayed hostility.
I've already ruled on that motion.
I understand.
So I don't want to hear any more about that.
Well, but so after that point, though, Your Honor, we did not have, she would not communicate with us. She would not respond until these emails post when I responded. And again, we got kind of the dismissive, hey, I'll check into it and I'll let you know. We followed up and we never hear anything. To us, the majority, and I think in part of our prefer, I think as you hear from the children, you'll probably hear that they believe that their mom's best friend was the guardian ad litem. That was just their impression, and she literally was on the phone with her 24 hours a day. I think that may be a stretch, but that's the gist of it. And I don't think my client should be responsible for those fees. The whole incident, which led to the court ended up hearing from police officers. That whole incident where my client was arrested, and we ended up hearing that because of Mrs. Parker's position at the sheriff's office. She got special treatment where my client got arrested, and Mrs. Musson was part of that. She definitely had an axe to grind. She's taken a very staunch position, and because she didn't agree with me, she became very hostile, wouldn't respond to me, wouldn't respond to my client. Now, if you have one side who can't even communicate about real legitimate issues, and there are a lot of them, some of which we'll be dealing with later today, based on what Mr. Johnson said in his opening, that do not reflect the reality of the situation. And I think that the children also are probably some of the best arbiters, or sorry, some of the best will be able to give the court an idea as to what they experienced with the guardian ad litem and how beneficial she was. I don't believe my client should be responsible for the additional fees. The fact that we've had I'd say a delay of what should have probably happened with custody of Cole for over another year or two, and it's only deteriorated and resulted in more problems, I think had to do with how the guardian ad litem handled her investigation and what her recommendation to the court was, which I don't think was justified in the end. Again, I do understand the deference the court gives, but if you look at the response we filed, I don't want to recount all of it, but it's pretty detailed. And it does have what the guardian ad litem is appointed to do in USCR 24.9. And it lays out, we laid out in there in depth what that was. She said, she even testified that she was under the presumption that the minor children were her clients. And that was not her client. They're not her clients. The 24.9 makes that clear. In her report, she stated that plaintiff did not have legal custody when he clearly did. It was never taken away from him. He clearly had it. And she recommended even...
Just so you know, that's not what the report said. He had custody with supervision. He needed supervision to see his children because he was not a stellar parent to begin with.
Afterwards, drastic limitations on his parenting time that are normally recommended in cases that I think usually are extreme physical abuse cases. Again, it's already on the record, the text messages that I had attached between myself and Mrs. Musson, where I was just trying to bring an issue to her attention. And she literally went off on a whole thing where, oh, we need to call, then I should be called, you should be taken to an emergency room. There was a whole attack. And unfortunately, that got in the way of the investigation. And I don't think, as a result, that my client should be paying any more than he's already paid for something that was clearly, in our opinion, a preordained decision that she was trying to make happen. While guardian ad litems are able to make, are allowed to file certain motions and participate in hearings and other events, she's not supposed to be an adversary and isn't supposed to react to requests to investigate by immediately dismissing the allegations, which she did when it came to us, and then vindictively forcing a child to undergo an unnecessary screening just because I sent her a message close to my Sabbath while she was apparently out at dinner. That was all. It was just to notify her. And then it became a whole thing and a ruckus. And you saw everything that came in. She took my criticism or my response personally as criticism, and it wasn't at the time. And then it became an argument. It intensified to an extreme, and then she then went to ask the court to review my actions.
That's what she did. She went to the judge. She told on him. She wanted his actions reviewed, and it wasn't just this one single thing that his actions were reviewed on. This is over 10 years, and this constantly keeps happening. This lawyer keeps getting in trouble from a whole bunch of judges and the father.
And instruct me on how to correspond with the guardian ad litem. Well, after that, she wouldn't correspond or take any messages. I mean, there was nobody for us to, literally everything the court got from that point on was whatever Mrs. Brigman was saying. And so to ask my client to have to pay that, I mean, Mrs. Brigman for a while got what she wanted with respect to Cole at least, and whether that should have happened or not. I think that my client's already paid his share. He's already paid what he was required to pay for the guardian ad litem, and we would ask that Mrs. Brigman or Parker pay the balance of the fees on the guardian ad litem as a result. And I'm not going to go through each of those various things in detail. I'm not going to go through every single exhibit that I had attached to my different motions. I would say that.
And you're right. You're right. When a guardian ad litem is appointed, both parents pay. Except if you were listening at the beginning, and I know it was really hard because the audio wasn't great. They had, I think she was up to five emergency motions where they needed a guardian ad litem to step in, all because of things the dad was doing. 5 emergency hearings, 5 reasons that the guardian ad litem had to sit down, go through all the text messages, go through all the emails, My Family Wizard, see what the dad was saying to the children. She had to interview the children. She had to do all, and this is what racked up the $5,000. Not the initial anything. It was just these things that the father was doing wrong. So Mom's saying, look, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying the $5,000 for this because the only reason why we're here again and again and again and again is because he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and neither is his damn lawyer. They're not. So they're saying they need to pay the guardian ad litem, not both of us. And we don't get an answer on this motion, but I pretty much think the judge is going to make him pay for it.
We contacted the guardian ad litem because my client had received a troubling, the child gave him some statements that were troubling, and he didn't know how to draw her attention to them due to lack of communication to him. His statements that were taken out of context and blame placed on him as if he were coaching always. And that's how that whole issue with the text messages came about. He was afraid to say anything to her, and so I figured she's in charge, or she's supposed to be reporting to the court. That needed to happen, needed to be reported. And I asked the court to take into account the ensuing response by the guardian ad litem, and I think that led to a lot of unnecessary litigation when really we should have had an impartial person who did not consider the children her clients, as she testified, but rather who was the court's representative to help make some recommendations on the best interest of children. But the Rule 24.9 clearly says they're not her clients, as she represented. Said it in response to her motion also, that she did not communicate, not only did she not communicate with the plaintiff, but it specifically says within the rule governing guardian ad litems that, as she said, that she spoke with or consulted with, quote, all parties. But because she had an issue with my client, she really did not talk to my client, and he would fall within all parties. So when you're only speaking to one side again, then trying to stick my client with the bill, I think that just wouldn't be right. That's it.
Thank you.
That
Mr.
wouldn't be
Johnson.
right, Judge. That wouldn't
Can
be
the court
right.
hear me if I stay right here?
Yes.
Okay. I won't say a whole lot, Judge. Chaos. That is the creation of Mr. Brigman and Mr. Schachter. This whole case, going back to 2015, has been chaos. And all of that chaos has been caused by Mr. Brigman. And if you look at the orders over and over and over and over again, the courts have found Mr. Brigman is the architect of this chaos. over and over again. And the same thing goes with Ms. Musson. And, this idea that she didn't like him or she was biased, we've heard this from Mr. Brigman about every single person that gets involved in these cases. The psychological evaluator didn't like him, so he wanted to get somebody else. The guardian didn't like him. The special master didn't like him. Nobody likes Mr. Brigman, and it's always a conspiracy against him. Well, sooner or later, the common denominator is Mr. Brigman. And so the idea that he didn't cause any of this or that this was all some conspiracy against him is very much on brand for Mr. Brigman. But I will remind the court that, again, pretty much each and every time the court has found for Ms. Brigman. And in fact, on the issue of the guardian ad litem's report, the court went with Ms. Musson's report. So, this idea that she was somehow biased, the court obviously felt she did a good job. She went way over and above, and nobody should be subjected as a guardian ad litem to the criticism that Mr. Brigman and Mr. Schachter have laid on her because it's so incredibly unjustified. And I think it's going to chill people wanting to be guardians ad litem with this kind of behavior. So we're asking that he be required, Mr. Brigman, be required to pay any additional fees associated with Ms. Musson. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take this under advisement. I'll get an order out. Thank you.
We don't get to hear what she says on that. But we do get to hear what she says on everything that's coming up. This was just a tiny taste of what we are about to go into. We are about to dive into more motion hearings. Not with the guardian ad litem, with mom and dad. And dad's lawyer gets annoyingly repetitive. And the judge is repetitive too because she keeps yelling at him to move on. I already heard it, move on. I already heard it, move on. I already heard it, move on. That's what we're getting into. And that's today. But then tomorrow, mom takes the stand. And dad's lawyer gets to question her.
So the next issue then, Mr. Schachter.
Well, the next issues are going to be the overlap between custody and contempt. Obviously, they're saying that they're conceding custody, but the contempt issue is still very much applicable as to what happened in the interim, meaning the contempt regarding not following the orders and alienating in the post-judgment phase. But as I said, the children, I think, will be
I'm not hearing from the children. I'm not putting them on the stand.
That's fine.
I'll listen to the evidence, see if I need to speak with either one of them, but...
So when you ask me to make a prefer, in what format would you like me to make that?
Well, first let me just hear from the parties as to what they contend occurred, and then I'll see if I need to hear anything from the children by way of proffer or by me speaking to them, but I'm not putting them on the stand.
Specific things that were said, very demeaning, horrible things about my client by Mrs. Parker and Ms. Parker or Brigman to the children about my client throughout the case, even post, guilt tripping, horrible comparisons, telling the children that he's a rapist, that he's like Alex Murdaugh when that trial was going on, and the children are acutely aware of this. They are disturbed by it. They didn't like hearing that. It bothered them so much.
I don't know if I believe that is what happened, but I don't not believe it. Mom's not a saint at all. Dad is not a saint. Remember, focus on the attorney. Don't take sides because it just gets worse for both of them. Don't take sides.
And that's going to be, I believe, you could hear from them. You can get their credibility.
Okay, yeah, let me hear from the parties at this point.
Very well. So I will call Bradley Brigman.
All right, Mr. Brigman, if you'll come forward, please. Face the clerk, raise your right hand.
I went to Catholic school, so we took a lot of Latin. We were always taking Latin. I know.
Yes. And then I need which ones are the messages? The messages? Some of them. Huh? Is that your book?
There's Dad. He doesn't do a bad job.
Okay, you were formerly married to Carla Parker,
Yes.
and you have 2 children together, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there have been a lot of, you heard allegations about you for contempt. I guess we're getting to address
Don't
that.
do
You
it.
filed also a motion for contempt within the combined motion to amend the final order, supplemental final order to comport with requirements of with the order, and then also just her continuing alienation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to go, and I don't know if you need a copy of the motion just to have. I'm going to turn to the contempt portion.
Okay, now we're at the part where there's a motion for contempt. And it's a coin toss over who is motioning who for contempt. I really think that it's him that's facing a motion of contempt, but then I don't think it's him, because they point fingers at her for a lot of things. Listen, if you guys can figure it out, you guys are brilliant.
Okay. Now,
And I was in Texas, so I really haven't seen this whole thing. I saw enough that I know I wanted it. So we're going to find everything out together.
in terms of during that period, during the period when the court issued the final order, did you have some issues in terms of understanding or at least getting compliance with what was supposed to happen?
Yes, I asked for clarification so that I wouldn't make any mistakes.
Okay, I'm going to go through the motion. I'm going to hand you, what exhibit are we up to? 8. I'm going to hand you plaintiff's 8, which is, Paul, these are the exhibits that are attached to my motion itself. Can you stop it?
If you could just identify what it is.
Final order petition to modify issued by the court on December 13, 2022.
No objection.
Okay.
All right, that's number 8.
Yes.
All right, it's admitted.
Okay. And then I'm going to hand you number 9. Did we then get this letter from Mr. Johnson, number 14, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And that would be number 10, I believe. Oh, 9. Here's 9. Oh, yeah. Very well. Now, ultimately, did the court file a supplemental final order petition to modify custody, visitation, and child support and order a motion for contempt?
Yes.
And we'll call that 3. And that was actually issued December 19th, 2022. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Very well. You call that?
Yes.
I'd like to tender that exhibit, Your Honor.
So did you also tender 9,
9 and 10.
9 and 3, and then 10?
Correct. No, 9 and 10.
I thought I heard 3.
No 3.
10, pardon?
Not 3.
Okay, any objection to 9 and 10?
No, Your Honor.
Admitted.
Okay. Now, within that order, was there a parenting plan? There was no parenting plan, was there?
No, there was no parenting plan in place.
And at the time that we filed this motion, there still was not a parenting plan.
Correct.
Or at least not a new parenting plan.
Correct.
Is that right?
I'd asked for one.
I got you. And it said that with respect to Cole, you were supposed to have what?
Visitation.
Well, what kind of visitation?
Supervised visitation.
Supervised visitation. Very well. And obviously there was those issues. Now, the supervisor that had been assigned, Mr. Cyrus Hansberry, was he available after that point to supervise?
He was not available. He had received too many
Objection here, sir.
Okay.
It's the same.
Was he available at any moment?
No, not anymore.
Did was EPAC supervising anyone?
No.
Okay. Now, do you recall I think it's exhibit that I attended earlier with Mrs. Musson, Mrs. Sullivan's email to everyone that it indicated the court had been contacted by a potential supervisor and that the courts, and that Mrs. Musson and counsel should figure that out?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I see really quickly the first exhibit. I just want to see if I gave this one or not.
He's trying, guys.
Very first one?
He's trying.
I don't know what he means by first.
You will. You will. The dad actually helps him, pulls him out of his.
We're up to what number? 10? Okay. Now, did we receive, again, with 11, correspondence from Ms. Sullivan in the court, with correspondence from Parker Wrigley after that?
Yes.
Okay. That's 11, and then I'm going to give you 12. That correspondence were rewritten to the court saying that there were still issues that needed to be addressed.
Yes.
11, 12, and then 13, where Ms. Sullivan acknowledged that there were still outstanding issues like child support. I'm sorry, where Ms. Sullivan indicated that there were still outstanding reserved issues like child support.
Yes.
Michael.
I'd like to tender 11, 12, and 13.
Any objection to 11, 12, and 13?
I don't think so. If I could just have 2 seconds to look at
All
it.
right.
No objection.
Admitted.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Now, I think it was in Exhibit 2 where I had written to Ms. Musson about the court's directive and that she needed to vet Lakeisha Dean. You recall that?
Correct.
It's in our motion. And then her response, which I've already tendered, where she indicated she's already spoken with the supervisor and asked for documentation. And she'll do, you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, after that
The rabbit
time,
died.
when we inquired of Mrs. Musson, did we ever get any response or feedback on?
None.
And did you write to Mrs. Parker and ask her about the supervisor?
Through the Wizard app, yes.
Okay. And what did she say?
No reply.
Wouldn't reply. Okay. Is that typical that she doesn't reply?
You'll find in all the messages, yes.
Well,
Most all.
does she just not reply, or does she even bother to check your messages for?
Most of the times it'll go months without being read.
Okay, we're going to tender this.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Hansberry, you already said was not available anymore.
Correct.
Okay. And then we got to that email that Parker submitted that we just tendered, correct?
Correct.
Very well. Now, after that point, did the court then, in response to, we filed our motion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And once we filed our motion, did the court ultimately give us a supplemental final order with the parenting plan to comply with 1991?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to hand you first. That would be number 14.
He's trying, guys.
Can I just interrupt for just a moment?
He's trying.
The young men, the Brigham children, were here earlier. I don't know whether they're still in the courthouse or what, but should they be sitting around the courthouse all day while we go through this? I mean,
I guess we're going to have to get to whether or not you feel like you need to speak to them. Okay. Steve, could you let them know? Could you let them know, Steve?
All right. Let's listen to what this man just says one more time.
Have to get to whether or not you feel like you need to speak to them. Okay. Steve, can you let them in? Can you let them in, Steve?
I heard, Steve, can you let them in? Can you let them in? That's what I heard the first time I watched this. That's what I heard. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, now, let me ask you this. So that was number 14, correct? Now, I'm handing you 15. Tell me what 15 is.
Some message from Parla to me.
Okay, have you asked her, there's going to be a more thorough thing, but have you asked her about visitation and the ability for you to visit your child at military school? Guys,
Correct.
you got to go out. Steve, I was saying that they can leave the courthouse.
I just said let them in.
No.
He brought the kids in.
They're out.
Lead us.
This
I
is a
know.
message that right after court, I was informed that Cole was being sent away to military boarding school.
Well, were you
And that,
informed? Did she confer with you?
No, I knew that they had gone to an open house. That was it.
Let me ask you, was it your understanding that she still had a duty to confer under the operative orders?
Yes, and
And you
I've
still
been
have joint
asking.
legal custody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did Mrs. Brigman ever confer with you and let you know that she was sending the child in advance away to a military school?
Not until he left.
Not until he left. Okay. And so what is this message that I gave you, which is correspondence with September 7, 2023?
It's a response to my message about how I'm able to see him, or who do I use? Who was she approved for me to use as a visitator for my supervised visits? Since CASA and Bright House aren't available in this rural town.
So let's be clear here. Did she recite to you that as per the court orders, that you still had to continue having supervised visits as previously mandated, supervised either by CASA, Bright House, or the supervisor that the court has approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is after Ms. Musson was already apprised or had been apprised of your proposed supervisor, or at least was vetting her, correct?
Correct.
And is it your indication from here, or what is your understanding from here? Was she agreeing to any other supervisor?
No, she had denied everybody to me.
So she was still requiring that you use the supervisors that were no longer available?
He was bad. I don't know what. But remember, this started 10 years ago. The children are grown now. One of them, I think, is 16. The other ones are adults now. So I miss your potato. There's a beautiful kitty cat now, but what happened to the potato? I loved the potato. Visitator, it could be a word. You don't know. You don't know.
And not available in that city.
And to go to where exactly was this?
In Camden, South Carolina.
Camden, South Carolina. Okay. Did I already tender them too? That was 15.
I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it.
It's from our Okay. Now,
I have no objection. 15.
And 15's a minute.
Now, given the parenting plan order that came out, even before the parenting plan, the initial order, was there anything within the initial order or the order following emergency hearing, before the parenting plan submitted, any order that said that your joint legal custody of Cole was removed?
No.
Custody. Okay.
No.
And ultimately, when the court gave the order following emergency hearing, did it state in part that the mother shall have primary legal and physical custody of the minor children and tiebreaker authority for major decisions?
Yes, sir.
Was there anything indicating she no longer had to confer with you, you had no legal rights, and you could not be informed of anything was going on?
No, sir.
Okay.
I tried to communicate with her and give her options before I knew about Camden.
Okay. And from that time, did she give you any information about Cole?
After he was there, I asked how do I contact him. She told me to go to the website for the
Did she
school.
tell you to go to the website, or what did she do?
She told me to go to the website
She sent you a response, correct?
on
What did
Family
she
Wizard
respond?
after he was already there.
What was the response specifically? Did it say anything, or did it just have a link?
It just had a link,
What was the link to?
the Camden website.
Okay.
And then
Now-
finally gave me his address of where to send things to.
Did she list you as an authorized person to be able to communicate with your son with Camden?
No.
Okay. Did you try to get in touch with them?
Yes, they would not speak to me.
And why wouldn't they speak with you?
I assume they've been instructed not to.
Okay. But to your knowledge, she had not authorized.
Objection.
you to contact.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to, just for example, I'm going to hand you exhibit number 16, actually. Were you sending correspondence regarding Cole and Parker? Are you still conferring with her about Parker?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the exhibit I just gave you?
Parker, I got Parker his learner's permit when he turned 15, and then by the time I gotten him back, he hadn't gotten his driver's license yet, so I was telling her that I was taking him to get his driver's license and a car, and his grades have greatly improved. His outlook on life had gotten better, and he was talking about going to college, which is,
Are you giving, what's the idea? What are you doing here?
I'm updating her like I always do,
Okay. Have you been updating her even till now with Parker?
every month,
Does she ever respond to reply?
not a single time.
When it comes to Cole,
Mr. Schachter, the clerk says she doesn't have 11 through 14, so if you'll please give those to her, they've been admitted, but she doesn't have them.
Look, he's
11 through
trying,
14,
guys.
they were
He's
admitted, but we
trying.
don't have them.
let's check and see.
Getting evidence admitted is hard. It's not always going to go right.
Let's see. Is there any of these? There may be a few or two.
I have,
Give me this.
there's that last one, second to last, third to last,
It's probably some of these.
fourth to last,
Huh?
fourth to last, fifth to last.
I guess go through here.
I don't know.
Match up.
I do believe that we go through every single page in this, guys. Just so you know, I do believe we might.
Okay.
So I was giving her the updates monthly in his grades, and then at the end, I asked her her thoughts on the matter.
Any response of her?
No,
Okay. Now, when it came to Cole, did she keep you updated?
no.
Okay, I think
I
we,
only got Cole's grades by Cole.
okay, so let's go back. Actually, this is a more full version, so I'm going to give you, we'll call this 17. This is the message that we saw before September 7, 2023, from Parla to you, correct?
Correct.
And it actually shows what she's responding to, your inquiry to her. You
Right.
can see the full message, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want you to, if you could, tell us specifically in that second paragraph of her response, what does she write regarding Camden? When
There's an open house coming to the military academy.
Agreed.
This event does not involve Cole, which means I cannot come. I'd like to emphasize your attention to Camden's open house is a separate and doesn't involve me. Please handle the matter pertaining to Camden open house directly with Camden.
Okay. Now,
I did.
were you able to do anything though, with Camden?
No, I could not get anybody at that school to talk to me.
Because she had, so despite the fact that she's telling you you need to be in touch with Camden, and she's given you the ability to come to communicate with them, or them the ability to communicate with you.
I assumed since she had bribed him and got him to do everything else for him that I couldn't get anything from them.
She bribed them, guys. She bribed the whole school not to talk to the father. Not that he called and, talked to them. She bribed them.
Okay. Now,
You probably could, Michael. Don't sell yourself short.
were you able to have visitation with your child there, or speak to your child, even supervised?
I could only go to open events, which was a parade.
Say that again.
I was only able to go to open events, such as they had a parade I think it was once a month, maybe once every other month, where it was an open parade for all the families to come watch.
Okay.
She did allow me to walk off with him one time, me and Parker and Cole, to walk around the campus. But after that, I wasn't allowed to have him or see him, talk to him. I just watched him in the parade. So I would drive the 4 hours to watch him and then drive home.
Okay. Very well. Now, was there an issue even with visitation in Savannah when you could have had supervised visitation?
Yeah, anytime he came home for what they called furlough, she would say I could see him through this message here, but we still did not have a supervisor. And then when it was a spring break, which the court had given him to me for spring break, she had plans for him, and I saw him for about 20 minutes, and then he was gone again, and I didn't see him the rest of that week.
That's not true.
Can you tell me what?
Oh my gosh, did you hear her? Did you hear? I'm going to rewind it. I missed that part.
On again, and I didn't see him the rest of that week.
Such a liar.
Is this correspondence we spent to Mr. Johnson on March 29, 2024?
Yeah, this is right when he came home for spring break.
And what was the issue?
Cole was told he couldn't come to my house for visitation because he had other plans for spring break, and I didn't have a supervisor. But the court order in that spring break did not say I needed a supervisor. It said I needed a third party of anything to watch my children that had to do with children.
Did we already put in the supplemental final order?
That wasn't a real sentence, right? Was that a real sentence, guys?
Okay, very well. Did I give it? Okay, so once the court issued the court indicated to you that you could have someone who had some relationship to watching children. Is that correct?
Anything that had to do with children, yes.
Okay, and does that person exist for you?
Yes.
Who's that?
My wife.
Okay, what does your wife do?
She's a nurse practitioner. She's been a pediatric, urgent care, ICU, emergency care, and ER nurse.
Okay, and we conveyed that to Mr. Johnson.
That sounds like a damn fine supervisor of children. 100%.
What happened after that?
No response, I know.
Okay. Now, did anyone ever confer with you about the decision to send Cole to Savannah?
No, that was a long time ago.
Well, yeah, but what happened to Savannah?
He was put inside a Christian. This was why we were going through our divorce. And I think the more I was alienated away from him, the more he lashed out.
When was he before the order in this case? Was he in Savannah Christian, or was that after?
After Savannah Christian, he was homeschooled, and then after homeschooled, he was sent to Calvary Day School, where he was kicked out of both schools.
Okay, so he was kicked out of both schools, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, now. To get into,
He did good at homeschool.
okay, and we'll get to that. I am going to hand you next.
They don't get to that.
This is the ones that update.
The lawyer gets lost in the weeds so bad soon that they
I'm
don't get
going
to
to
that.
hand you what we'll call 19. And 20.
Same color of his socks, blue?
Okay. 19 and 20, are these messages from our family member?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to give the court, here's 19. And then, okay, so we have two sets of our family wizard messages, is that right?
Yes.
One of them, which was up until recently, from roughly the time after the December 2022 order, is that right?
Correct.
And then more recently, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So, just, you heard Mr. Johnson saying that you just took Cole and he's been living with you. Is that accurate?
No, it's not.
Okay. Did you get Cole?
Yes.
Did you get him? Did you
Oh, no, I did not get pick him up.
Did you try to confer with Mrs. Brigman about what to do next?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Okay. And did
Even when he was at my house that
did
day.
she send you any correspondence about it?
Not at that time, no.
Even acknowledging that she knew that he was living with you?
Yeah, she did.
Okay, so we're gonna, let's start off going back to the contempt portion. Let's look at 19, and I'd like to tender 19 and 20.
Any objection?
I'm looking at it right now, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
We're gonna start from backwards to forwards, because I think that's it's the reverse order. So,
Was there an 18?
there was
You got tender.
I'd like to tender 18, and
Oh, yeah.
if I haven't already.
Judge, I guess my only thing I'd say is that all of these are highlighted and marked up, but I know the court, it's a bench trial, I know the court.
Pay attention to, I'm not gonna let that
Yeah,
swing.
so with that, no objection.
All right,
Okay, let's
so 19 and 20 are admitted. I don't know where 18 is. I haven't heard anything about that.
sorry, 18, which one was 18? Oh, sorry, yeah, 17 was the second supplemental final order, and 18 was the correspondence to Mr. Johnson.
Do you have
And he's got them.
18, Mr. Johnson?
Which one is 18? I don't remember.
One of them is that one where it's the correspondence between me and you.
Oh, no
Or me
objection.
and you.
All right, admitted. 18, 19, 20 are all admitted.
And 17 also?
17 as well. Thank you.
Okay. So let's start from, in our family wizard, if we could, let's just go to post the order of December 2022.
What
Okay?
page?
Maybe.
Whole thing?
What are you looking at?
I mean, there's a huge maybe. That is absolutely possible. And they are bringing her in for contempt. That is absolutely possible. But I don't think so. I think he's the one being brought in for contempt. And I think all this stuff that he's presenting has absolutely nothing to do with the reason why we're here. That's just what I think. I don't know, though. I didn't watch this all.
What exactly?
So this would be this one right here, which would be 19.
He is. And we're going to go through each page with him. Each page.
And we're in reverse order because it goes from oldest to newest.
What are you asking him to do?
I'm going to ask him to go through
Oh,
certain
okay.
messages.
Not certain messages, guys. All of them.
First of all, on page 1019, okay, you're going backwards. 1019 of 1081. You see that?
Start at the back because it's all reversed.
Yes, sir.
Look at December 16th, 2022. Did you correspond with Mrs. Brady about child support and your needing clarification on what to do?
Yes, I said needing to wait to clarification on the judge's order. The second part of child support would not be sent out until we get clarification needed to see what I need to pay. I have paid Jean for the past few months while Parker has been living with her. That's my mother. Because right after this hearing, Parker left her house and went to reside at my mother's house. And I cannot pay Jean, my mother, at the same time as I pay you. I'll provide you with the amount if you would like to be reimbursed for anything for which you pay double for Parker since he's living with you. See, he wasn't living with you, I'm sorry.
Now, just to be clear, what was your understanding as soon as custody changed about what you were supposed to pay child support wise?
I was, at the time custody changed, it was my understanding from the final order that I would pay less.
Now, you're talking about the final order from Judge Colbert or the final order in your divorce case?
In my divorce case.
Okay, so until we had a decision on what child support which had been reserved was, why did you believe that you could, that you were not to pay the same amount that you paid for this?
I didn't understand it to be any kind of emancipation. It said that once one child was left at her house, that I would pay less. So once I was paying for Parker's 100% at my house, I did not understand that I would still have to pay her the same amount of child support for Parker, who wasn't living there, nor seen. I mean, at that point, neither one of them would even talk to each other. And I still don't.
What I'm going to do, Your Honor.
And that's true. So, they talk about 2 children. I don't know if there's more or less. They talk about 2 children. On this day, the 16-year-old, I shouldn't say that. One of them is living with the father, and one of them is living with the mother. The mother has a great relationship with one of them, and I think the father doesn't. And then the other one is living with his father, and mom doesn't talk to him at all. He doesn't talk to mom at all. Maybe. I don't know. I do know they talk about 2 children, and the mother wants nothing to do with one of them. That I know is a fact.
I'm going to show you, before you take judicial notice of the final judgment and decree of divorce.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to bring to you really quickly this. This is a copy of your final judgment and decree of divorce.
Which happened 10 years ago.
Tell me what it says about child support in the child support addendum on page 4. What does it say at the bottom?
And when there's only one child for whom child support is owed, the non-custodial parent shall pay the support of $2,806 per month, beginning with the due date of the next child support payment.
Okay. Now, once you got that decree in December 2022, do you understand?
Yo, child support is $2,000 a month per kid. What? My courts failed me. I should sue all of my courts. Because, that's $2,000 $2,000 a month for one kid. One. There was two that I know about. That's $4,000 a month.
Yourself to be the custodial parent of Parker?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you consider her to be the non-custodial parent?
Yes, sir.
Of Parker. So, as far as you understood it, when it says there's only one child for whom child support is owed, the non-custodial parent, being you, would only be paying for full. Is that right?
Correct. That's why I asked for clarification, because there is no response from Parla when I ask her questions. So just like with the taxes, I didn't have answers. I needed answers so I could follow the order.
As far as your understanding of this, there was only one person that you were the non-custodial parent of, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you heard Mr. Johnson, he said, well, that is emancipation. It doesn't say anything in here about emancipation.
No, sir.
It said it's an emancipation clause, but it says once they've
Your Honor, Mr. Schachter's
You
testifying.
can make that argument, Mr. Schachter.
Sure. Very well.
I get his position.
Okay, very well. Now, could you afford to pay $4,187 a month when you were providing for another child?
I couldn't afford to pay anything. I mean, I had to get help from my parents.
Okay.
So no, I couldn't afford to pay her and take care of the kids.
Sounds like it.
So on page 1019 of this, going backwards, that's what you're referring to, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, let's turn to page 1027. And did you clarify that on December 21st?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, turn to page 1028, December 28th, 2022.
Yes, sir.
What were you discussing with Mrs. Parker here, and what was her response?
I was not able to get any kind of supervised visitation approved by anyone. Scott wasn't replying to any of our messages or yours. I had to get Mr. Harris. He's the only person she would actually correspond to. So
Stay
he was
still.
helping me try to get some supervised visitations, but even that failed. So here I'm just trying to give my son his Christmas gifts and to see if I can stop by and say hey to him, anything, and I got nothing.
Okay. What did she respond to you on December 28th?
You can give Cole his Christmas gifts during visitation when it is scheduled.
Did you have any visitations scheduled
No.
for Christmas that year? Okay.
She's telling me I can leave his gifts at the front door of her house.
Okay. Now,
Which I did.
they happened to bring up, just since we're in order here, they brought up this thing about you owing money for Bojangles shares.
Yes.
Since that's been brought up, even though I don't think it's really part of this hearing in motion, look at page number 1029 on January 4th. What are you sending Carla here?
That not only have we signed and submitted everything for Bojangles, I've sent it to Paul Johnson's office. It's in y'all's hands. This is all talking about the same thing we've been talking about for years. If she would take over the ownership of the Bojangles, she would start getting a K1. This is, again, just me trying to tell her to take her Bojangles shares.
Now, they've contended that you were supposed to transfer them to her. Is that something that you understood they were supposed to be preparing, or someone else was supposed to be preparing?
They were supposed to prepare it with the Bojangles attorneys. After years of that not happening, I did it personally. I don't know if it's the right way, the wrong way, I'm not sure, but we did it and signed it, sent it over to it. It's been sitting there.
Now, in the meantime, have you incurred each year taxes on her shares that she's supposed to get? That
Yes,
you've been paying?
yes, and I pay them.
You've been paying taxes on her portion of what she's ultimately supposed to get.
I've taken out
Yes.
loans to pay these taxes, yes.
Multiple restaurants.
Now, going forward, look at page 1033, January 18, 2023. What is this about? What are you corresponding about having to do with Savannah Christian?
Which section? The 2537 message?
Yes.
So this is the school telling me that since Parker was living at this time, I was trying to get the financials released from Parla. This is the second time I've had to get them released from her. The first time when he lived with me before all court. The the second time after he was taken away and then brought back to me again, that Savannah Christian needs me to take over financial responsibility. So I'm asking her to please release the financial responsibility so that I can take care of the tuitions.
Now, one message above, what did you send her on January 17th?
Please update Cole's grades when it's convenient.
Okay.
No reply.
Did you send her his grades and keep her updated?
Cole's grades?
No, Parker.
Yeah, I send them every month or whenever I get them.
January 17th, 2023, is that what you're sending her? Updated grades for Parker?
Yes.
Okay. So you still have kept her informed the whole time?
I update Family Wizard as I'm supposed to, the calendar, the updates, the medical, special events, life events, anything.
Okay, let's go back another page to 1035. January 18th, 2023, 11:53 a.m. Is that another correspondence about the Bojangles shares?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you trying to do whatever you can do here to facilitate that?
I've been trying to get her to take these Bojangles shares since the day they were ordered to be given to her because it is a huge financial responsibility for me to pay all the taxes when I'm not receiving any money because she got in the way of our partnership and I haven't had any communication with those two.
Okay, but you've been paying those taxes.
Yes.
And so the taxes on it ultimately needs to come out of whatever it is that the net that she's going to get. Is that correct?
I would like to be able to pay the loans off of those taxes, yes.
Okay, you have to pay off the loans first of all before there's any net to anything.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
There were loans.
There were investments and loans to buy the Bojangles originally.
Okay.
That happens like 3 times, I think.
March 6, 2023.
That pause.
Did you send her, that's on page 1037, did you correspond to her about Cole and issues that you were having or that he was conveying to you?
What was the date?
March 6, 2023 on 1037.
Yes, sir.
Okay, does she ever respond to that?
No, sir.
When does she view that?
I wrote it 3/16/23. She reviewed it 3/10/23. Here I'm asking her to please stop telling Cole lies. Cole's a very emotional kid. He takes things to heart. At this point, he had called me and told me that his mom had and him had watched the Alex Murdoch.
Objection, Judge, you were saying.
Okay, well, Your Honor, that's going to be part of the prefer. We could have the children come in and testify that she compared him to Alex Murdoch.
All right, overruled. I'll allow for purposes of this. So go ahead.
Okay, what was he conveying? What did he convey to you that she told him?
That they had watched the Alex Murdoch case on TV last night, and that she started telling him how Robert Ginn, Russell Ginn, which are two of my good friends, and myself killed someone in a boating accident, and Bobby Ginn, which is Russell and Robert's father, paid it off. So to get us out of trouble, he said that he walked away from the room while she was telling him this ridiculous story. I just simply wrote her a message saying what I just said.
So he's saying, Georgia, he's saying that the mom told the kids that him and his friends had murdered someone. That's what they're that's what I sort of believe him. Just so you know, I sort of believe that the mom said that.
And asked, please stop hurting our kids.
I don't know though.
These were lies. This is slander. Please stop telling Cole lies. All the same stuff I had to tell Parker and Cole.
But there is a point that I think we're going to get to today that makes me absolutely not believe that too. So actually, I don't know if you'll see. You can make up your own mind. You'll see.
Do you believe if your children were to come in today to verify that all this occurred?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else they complained about being told by your ex-wife?
Yes, sir.
What?
I mean, we're talking about years of slander here. We're talking
Talk about more recent stuff up until while Cole was still living there.
Cole has recently been told that I raped his mother and beat her while we were married. I raped a woman in college. I killed people. I killed a person while I was in college. Just when we testified last time, she's told him about how 2 women got up here and said I was a gun runner, a sex trafficker, a drug dealer, and that I was also in the CIA.
Okay. Are any of those things true?
Absolutely not.
Okay. If your children were to...
There was no proof of anything. It's just accusations to hurt me and my kids.
Okay. But do you have if she says the stuff because she doesn't like you, okay, do you have an issue with that? Or you have it that she's saying...
No, you're not going to hurt me. It's not me. It's my children. She hurts my children. She's been hurting them for years.
If your children were to come in, would they, do you believe that they would be confirming that this bothered them?
Absolutely.
And that it alienated them from her, that they didn't want to be around
They've been
her?
trying to talk to the court for years because no one listens to them.
Okay. At the final hearing, and part of what Ms. Musson came into, there was a representation, even by Mrs. Parker, that Parker, your son, had been hitting her. What would Parker be testifying to if he came in here?
I mean, he walked in, you saw him. He's a tiny little boy. He's not 20. He's 19 years old. He would never touch his mother. We've taught him better. We both have taught him to never touch a woman. He would never hurt anybody. He would never stand in the way of his mother. And not all we ever taught him is to respect his mother.
And if Cole came in to testify, would Cole be corroborating that his brother never hit his mother?
Absolutely. He was standing right there when the whole argument started.
If the children were to come in, would they be corroborating, or would they be testifying? You believe they'd be testifying that your ex-wife actually played Cole against Parker because Parker said he wanted to live with you?
Absolutely. She's manipulated.
The reason why he didn't object to that, I'm going to tell you why the other attorney didn't object to that, and I'm going to tell you why the judge let it go too. Is because his attorney wants the children on the stand so bad. He wants to question the children terribly. The judge does not want to do this because the divorce is over. A lot of this that they're talking about is over. There's no need to relitigate it. We're not here for any of that. So she's letting him say what he thinks the children would say so that this attorney doesn't have a reason to put the children on the stand. Okay? The thing is, none of it matters because that's not why we're here. So he's letting him go on because the word is escaping me. This does matter for something, but not for like her lying against him to the children and things like that. It all doesn't matter. The children are adults now. No one's getting custody or anything like that. This is a contempt hearing. So, but I don't know who's in contempt. But so it has something to do with the contempt, like their character or something. So it's relevant in the fact that he's trying to give forth her character, but it's not relevant at all in the fact that she said something to the kids in custody and doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's all about character. I think. I mean, that's not the word I want to use, but it's close. We'll hear it at some point, but that's why she's letting it in, because she doesn't want the kids.
Manipulated both of them.
Has Cole come to the realization that he was manipulated the entire time?
As when he came back from military school, he started just at that age, any child would start learning good and bad against their parents. He learned and started telling me the lies that were being told to him, which are the same ones that were told to Cole or Parker.
And your children, did they want to come here today? I believe it may be covered in their affidavits.
Against my wishes, yes, they wanted to be here. They wanted someone to listen to them.
Did they want to clarify, though, something that Mr. Johnson has been bringing up throughout these proceedings, that an election that was done back in the divorce wasn't really theirs and that it was manufactured? Did they want to correct that?
Yes.
Your Honor, are we retrying the divorce case
Okay,
now?
yeah, I don't want to go back, Mr. Schachter.
It's the basis for some findings of the court that there had been manipulation and lying, and these kids
All right.
wanted to clarify that
Okay, well,
it
we're
was
not going
exactly
back
the
to
opposite.
relitigate the divorce, Mr. Schachter, so stick to what's at issue today, the contempt.
Okay, very well. So
We're here for contempt,
one,
but I don't know for who.
She's in violation of the rules of conduct by saying these kinds of things to your children.
Absolutely. It's against any parent.
And if the court needs anything else to confirm it, are you asking that the court allow your children to testify about the things she's told them that has destroyed them?
Again, I'm not asking that. Those are my children that have been asking
I
it.
understand that, but if the court believes that the court can't just rely on you saying these things.
Oh, no, I've been made out to be a liar this whole time because she plays an amazing victim, and all of this chaos that is said I create all the time is not chaos. It's to protect my children from a miserable life that they were living between Parla and her parents and her friends and her co-workers at the sheriff's department, including the sheriff Wilcher, that badgered my children and pressured
Well,
them.
let's ask that. If your children is it your understanding that they wanted to come in and testify that your ex had taken them to the sheriff's office so that people could tell them they'd end up like you in jail?
Absolutely.
Live with their mother?
Absolutely. I had to turn my car around one day after I picked up Cole from the sheriff's office. He was with Parla when I still had full custody or visitation custody with a regular visitation. Turn around and go back. Asked Parla to open the side door. I walked in, asked if I could speak to the sheriff without my son, just me. I sat down in his office and asked him why he would tell him, at that point it was like a 12-year-old boy, that he would come in the back door like his dad will one day and spend the rest of his life in jail because I'm a con artist, a rapist, and a murderer.
So now the dad is saying that the sheriff told his son that he is a con artist, a rapist, and a murderer. Before he said it was the wife that said that to the kids. And now he's saying it's the sheriff that's also said it to the kids. So that's why I kind of believe she actually did say that, but now I kind of believe she didn't, because now he's saying the sheriff did. And he sat down and he asked the sheriff, why would you say this to my children? And this is how the sheriff replied.
He threw his hands on top of his head, kicked his feet up on his desk, and said, I'm the sheriff. I can say whatever I want.
Sustained.
Very well. I would ultimately, if the court would hear from the children, that would be for their present state of mind.
Hold on.
He told
hold on.
Scott.
This is about, the objection was to what your client was testifying that the sheriff said.
Oh, sure.
So let's
Okay.
move on.
You can't say what the sheriff said.
He also told this to Scott Munson. He told the exact same thing.
Okay. Okay. Let's keep going backwards. 1039.
Yes, sir.
What are you sending her May 1st, 2023?
Can you give me an update on Cole's grades, school status, next year's school status, why he is not going to school every day?
Okay. There's a little bit more there. Did she ever respond to that?
No, sir.
She didn't respond. And in fact, up until the time that we got the court to issue a subsequent parenting plan, did she respond? Was she responding?
No, sir.
Okay. Turn back another page, 1041. May 15th, 2023. I've sent you 3 emails asking questions about Cole. That whole email. Is that another attempt to get information?
Yes, sir. I was asking to get his final grades.
And does she respond?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's go to page 1042, going backwards. July 31st, 2023.
Well, right before that, his Parker, I'm giving her another update on Parker. It was his first day of driving to school. I sent her pictures of him driving to school. I asked her if she wanted to be there that day because it's kind of a big deal for him to drive. No response.
Okay.
Next page.
Yeah, that was at 1042. July 31st, 2023.
First, please give me an update on Cole's grades and school plans, upcoming school year. I've been trying to get you to respond for months now. Second, please approve a new supervisor so I can see Cole. It's been months since I've seen him. If Cole has been sent away to military school, if Cole is being sent away to military school, can we please try him with me before you send him away?
Okay, does she ever respond to that?
No, sir.
Okay, go back another page to 1044. August 21st, 2023, a month later. What are you asking her about with Cole in school?
Since I haven't heard anything about Cole's school, I'm guessing he's being sent to Camden Military Academy. This is right before they left. If that's the case, can you send me the contact information so I can set up an account where I can see his grades and progress? Can you add school events to the Family Wizard so I can attend any and all events?
Okay, does she respond?
No, sir.
And did she keep the Our Family Wizard updated with the school events?
There's nothing on Family Wizard that updates me anything on anybody.
And we had outstanding contempts that were part of that same case that they're trying to bring up again, where we said that she was the custodial parent and should have been updating Our Family Wizard. Did that ever happen?
The judge asked her in the last case to please instruct me on everything that was going on so I didn't have to go through 20 different people to get information, yes.
So if we're still dealing with contempts from a divorce or post-divorce in their motion, we've got issues with you not being given any information,
Correct.
right? Okay. Now, go back to, so that was August 31st, 2023. You're still asking. Now, did she ultimately, I think you referred to this before, August 21st, 2023, when you had asked her about the school, what's that response that she gave you? What did she write? Did she give you any information besides https camdenmilitary.com?
Cole was playing football.
Okay.
Oh, and the website, she gave me it doesn't say anything. She sends me the web address and says, can't have gum.
Were you able to get access to the school online portals and stuff?
No, sir.
Why not?
I had no one to contact to get in touch that would talk to me to give me any
Were
access to
you
anything.
authorized to be able to get access?
No, sir.
Was there, to your understanding, a restriction?
Judge, I'm going to object unless he has somebody from Camden here to say that.
Okay, and I've already heard this, so
Okay.
sustain, let's move
I
on.
mean, keep going. Well, there's a lot of examples.
Well, I understand, but I just,
Okay. What do you write her on September 7th, 2023, on page 1048, the bottom?
As I'm sure you're aware, there's no Casa Bright House in Camden, South Carolina. Nor will you or approve the last supervisor I set up, Lakeisha Dean. Therefore, I can't get supervisors to watch me over there. The order already reads that no school can be changed, but this happened. So we can try.
Can we try?
Can we try to do what the order reads and try to co-parent our sons and work out some ways to allow Cole to see me?
Okay. There's more of that in there. Let's go back to 1049. She does send one thing to you on September 7th, 2023. What's that?
Which one was it? I'm sorry.
Page 1049, September 7th, 2023. What's the one thing she does write to you?
As per the court order, Cole will continue.
No, I'm talking about send. I think it's 2:38 p.m.
Bill's I'm Bill.
I got it.
I'm Bill
Send the
Henderson.
section of the order that does not allow the school to be changed.
Okay, if you go
He's
back
probably
to page
sleeping.
1052, January 7th, 2024, what's going on there?
I was trying to come see Cole for a few minutes before he leaves for school. After hearing
Emily
you were
wore him
back,
out.
in the background when I was trying to talk to him on the phone.
Okay, all right, do you get anything, she asked you about, what did she ask you in response?
Who is the supervisor? Asking to see him for an hour before he leaves is unreasonable. And no, supervision will never occur at my house.
Okay, now, again, had she given you advanced information that he was about to leave or anything like that?
No, he called me.
Okay, so that's how you found out.
Right.
You didn't even know he was about to leave.
No, sir.
Okay. Turn to page 1053.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's more of the same. It's,
The bottom one, or the middle section.
okay, let's go to 1054 at the top, January 9th, 2024.
Yes.
What are you asking her there?
Have you sent the order to Cole's school yet?
Which order?
The order that the judge issued?
It says the new order, correct?
Yes, the one where it says I can see him with a supervised
Okay.
person of any third party.
Okay. Does she confirm that she has or no?
No, there's no reply.
Okay. Now let's go to the next page, 1057 backwards. February 22nd.
There is a reply at the bottom of that page. But
Okay. Well, then, what's
let me
that?
say it.
Yeah. There is.
She replied to me, Camden Academy is followed. Traditional Academy approaches without
Dan.
online portable. Oh, I'm sorry. That follows the traditional academic approach without an online portal for grades and assignments. Students are
Don't you worry, Walter. They're going to read every single one of those papers.
personally informed of their grades
They
every
won't.
2 weeks. Cole's first semester grades will be ready in about 3 weeks. His GPA before the break is 3.2.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she's telling me that now Cole is on 30 milligrams of Adderall prescription for his school days, which he does not need.
Now, let me ask you this. That's January 10th, 2024.
Right.
Did we receive a parenting plan January 2nd, 2024 that made clear that 100% you still have joint legal custody?
Yes, sir.
So this is the first time she gives you any information. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There. Did you hear that, guys? Okay. They had a contempt hearing in January of 2024. So she was not giving him information in My Family Wizard. Okay? Even though they're reading examples of her giving him information, just not enough. They're saying she never answered any of his messages. Even though they also gave testimony that she really did answer. Anyway, they had a contempt hearing. The judge said she had to put more information in My Family Wizard. So since January of 2024, she has been putting information in My Family Wizard. Everything else they were talking about was before that and had already been solved in other contempt hearings. So that's why I said this could be a contempt hearing against mom, but I don't think so. Because I think what they were talking about before had already been handled in a separate contempt hearing. Because there's been many in the last 10 years. So now we have to figure out why they're here. Why are they here today in another contempt hearing? Who knows?
Again, under the other order, do you this?
Yes, sir.
Objection, he's covered the same thing about 20 times in a row.
Mr. Schachter, I tend to agree. Let's move
Okay,
on.
I'm showing the time.
I don't want to keep hearing this
Okay, let's go
again.
back another page then. 10:57. February 22nd, 2024. What are you doing in the middle there?
Every year for Christmas, my boys and I receive a cruise from my mother as our Christmas gift. It's been this way since the boys were born. And Parla and I were dating and then married. It's all been the same.
Okay.
This is me saying that the cruise has been planned, which they've always gone on. And the family trip, I give her the dates, hoping that Cole will be able to go.
Okay. What about on February 22nd, 2024 at 9:10 a.m.? What are you sending her there?
Parker's doing much better in school this semester. This is why he's at Savannah Christian. His grades, I give him the grades, give her the grades.
Okay.
He was struggling in Spanish.
Okay. Go back another page, 10:59 to April 4th, 2024.
Yes.
What are you doing there?
Updating the grades. Also talking to her about her and her relationship with Parker. Asking her to please reach out to him, try to start mending their relationship.
So you're trying to encourage her to contact the child that's in your custody.
Absolutely, yes.
And does she make any effort?
No. At this point, Parker is 18. I've always tried to make sure the boys communicate with their mother. And I'm able to control that with Cole now because he's 16 and his whole life revolves around vehicle and a phone. So if he does not meet his requirements to at least speak, see, have lunch, dinner, spend the night with his mother, he loses one of his rights with his friends.
Okay. Go back another page, 1061, April 5th. She sent you the correspondence thanking you for providing you with his phone number.
Right, I told her to please call him. She said she did not have his number, which
Well, go to the
It's
top of
absurd.
the page. What was your response to her on that?
Parker has had the same
Sorry,
numbers
Walter.
he has had since he was 9 years old, minus the small section.
Okay, so he's asking his ex-wife to call Parker. His ex-wife replies to the text and says, I don't have his phone number. And he sends a message back. It's the same number he's had since he was 9 years old. You don't know your son's phone number? That's what I'm saying. Mom ain't no saint, guys. Dad is not a saint. We're focusing on the lawyer, though. That's why we're here.
Where she had to provide him with a phone, but his phone was always active. He's always had it, especially when he was at my house. And I gave her the number once again, and then nothing from that.
Okay.
She thanked me for giving me his number.
Okay, now go on to April 5th, 2024.
Yes.
What's going on there?
This is spring break for Cole. He's on his way back. And he wants to spend time with me for spring break because we've been planning on it since the court had given me spring break with him. In that order, there was no mention of a supervised visit. No supervisor required at that point, but we still had Ansley as a supervisor because she's always with us, and her kids and Parker. And I was texting her asking when I could see him. And then she wrote back that Cole's driving back from school. He'll be back on the 7th of April. And tell me when he's going to be back at Camden.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. If Mr. Brigman is going to read the messages, he needs to actually read the message, not his perception of what the message says, because what he just said
Read the entire
isn't at all what the message that he's relying on
Sustained.
says.
Okay, read the entire message if you read it.
I did not
No,
know
not
anything
today.
about this. If you would, this is to Parla from me.
Okay.
I did not know anything about this. If you would like me to take him back, I'm available, always available. I do not ask Cole to do things. I will always go through you for those questions. If I am allowed to take him back, I can have him back at his barracks by 6 p.m. Above that, before that, was when I was talking about him coming home from school.
Okay. Let's go back now to page 1064.
I said that because he was being taken back by another parent, not his mother.
Okay.
I was only offering.
So you're offering to drive him.
I offered to pick him up for her anytime.
Okay. April 11th, 2024, on page 1064. What are you asking about?
Cole asked me to reach out to you about the summer vacation in June. I would like for him to go with us in June 28th to July 8th. We will be on a cruise. Ansley, Parker, Tess, my stepdaughter, Jackson, my stepson, and Natalie, which is Ansley's sister, and Ansley's little sister.
Okay.
If you have any questions, please let me know. Do you think he can join us? Thank you for considering this.
Okay. Did she respond to that?
Not about the cruise.
Casey,
Then,
Carrie,
go
Crystal.
back on to page 1065. April 19th, 2024.
If you'll go back to that page above that, I thanked her for letting me take Cole back to school for her that when the previous conversation. And we're on our way now. And I said that he should be there by 5 or 6 p.m. Yes.
Okay.
419.
Keep going back and showing us what it is that you would take initiative to do.
Maybe the lawyer should ask a question. I don't know. No, that's crazy talk. Sorry. That's my bad. Just so you know, guys, this ends abruptly in 14 minutes because there is really no good breaking point. It's just this over and over again. But we're going to finish it tomorrow. We're going to finish this over and over again tomorrow, and then it gets better. It gets way better.
That's just talking about his school, and I said that I would try to get him back in Savannah Christian.
Okay. Now, does she write to you about sending the child to CMA back on April 25th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay.
That's savage.
And if you go back to 1074,
1074 the page.
yes.
No, the
Right.
year.
Are you talking to her there about looking for, I guess you must be responding to her is what it looks like. Look at April 29th, 2024. What's that message from Parla to you?
From Parla to me. These are 18 days left in schools. He will be fine. I told him I love him and support him, but the situation is his to manage. He must take responsibility to finish school, behave, and be respectful. Unfortunately, he is not the only one who can do it. Or he is the only one that can do it. No one else can do it for him. This pattern of behavior is consistent with his past actions regarding school. Camden Academy was his choice and that he must see it through. He should take it one day at a time.
Okay, now, your son is here and could testify. Would he be testifying that Camden Military Academy was his choice?
Absolutely not. There are other messages in here that say he had two options, beach or Camden Military School.
I believe
and he
that.
chose Camden Military School because that was what she was going to send him to and decided to go with it because it was better than living with her.
Did he feel like he was abandoned and actually shipped off after
Yes.
he took custody of him?
Yes. And isolated from the rest of his family.
Okay, very well. And that's your understanding that if he were to testify,
He would say that's what his words, not mine.
Okay, if you go back another page, 1075.
To continue with our discussion, can we work the summer visitation plan out to keep moving forward and co-parent? I would like to do week on, week off over the summer and return to every one other weekend on Wednesdays, and Wednesdays during normal school schedule. What do you think? Or what would you like?
Does she respond to that?
No, not that I see.
Okay, below that, you're also addressing.
Above that, I'm sending her, there's another update of Parker's grades for the month.
And below that, you're addressing the fact that
He's on the bubble. I was telling her that he's on the bubble in Spanish and will most likely have to take Spanish over the summer.
you're talking about the
Parker
bottom,
has exams Monday. I'm sorry?
the bottom of the page is what I was.
I'm assuming since you have not replied to any of my suggestions, we are not trying to resolve our co-parenting issues and are going to court in June. I hate this is going to be our path, but I understand. Have you tried to reach out to Parker at all? Hopefully you and him can do a better job than you and I have. Good luck.
Okay, now, if you would go back another page. Let's go to page 1078.
1076 is two. 1076 is, I've attached pictures of an email and sent to you. I sent you an email. Would you like to be involved in Parker's senior bio? Cole told me you're gone from Wednesday to Thursday of next week. Since he's coming home this Saturday, is it okay if Cole spends some time with us while you're gone instead of their friend's house? And she wrote back, I have Cole's overnight arrangements handled, where he was essentially left at a friend's house to have free reign, no rules, no structure, no curfew, nothing. Which ended up getting in a fight that night.
He got in a fight that night at his friend's house.
I wrote back again, okay, thanks. Do you have any pictures you would like to add to Parker's bio or his bio? She says, I'll leave that up to you and Parker.
What are you trying to do here? Why are you corresponding to someone who's not even...
Because Parla and Parker's relationship is horrible. It's the abuse that he incurred through her for years. He's not been able to get over, even though we've gone to therapy. We've talked about it. We've tried to work through it. I just don't want him to follow the same path I have with my father, where you go years and years and years without speaking to a parent, because my initial goal was, from day one of this whole divorce, is 50-50. Both our children need both parents in their lives and their grandparents. And I've tried my hardest to help them and guide them and support them on having a relationship, and I just can't get either one of them to budge. Now, fortunately, with Parker or with Cole, one of the biggest reasons I didn't want him to testify is because I didn't want him to get up here and have to look at his mother and say things that I know has hurt him and will hurt her. and mess up their relationship that they have, because right now they have a decent relationship. They get along for the most part.
Parker or Cole?
Cole.
What about Parker? Does he have
They don't have anything. They have nothing.
When's the last time they've talked to your knowledge?
We were at a football game for Cole when he was still at Savannah Christian. We walked by his mother and Gary Taylor from the Sheriff's Department. He said, "Hey, Mom." She didn't even acknowledge him. That was the last time he's spoken to her.
Okay. Now,
and as far as them having a communication,
We will
the
not
last
hear
time
from
they
the kids.
communicated
No.
was the day he told her he was going to live with his grandmother. That was a couple weeks after our court case.
let me ask you in here before we keep going back.
Hi, Bill.
Is there an example that you have of where you send her a message and she doesn't even look at it for months?
Yeah, there's plenty.
Or never even?
I mean, here's one from 522.
All right, I'm pausing 522, but you already know what it's gonna say because he's just read the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. No OJ today because look, I just got off the plane a couple hours ago and I have to work a double, so I shouldn't have even have done this stream. But I missed you guys so much that I had to stream. And actually, you know what? I'll get into that another time. No OJ today. We're going to do 7 minutes and 50 seconds more, unless I pause it, of this video, and then we're going to call it a day.
When we printed these, it had never been viewed, so I don't even know if it's been viewed to this day. There's 527, never viewed.
What does it say? First viewed when?
I'm not sure how you...
No, I'm saying, what does it say next to Parley Brigman's name?
Never viewed.
So never.
First viewed, never.
But there's some that do indicate times when she did.
Oh, yeah, they all, as soon as you open it, it shows viewed. But there'll be months between the time I've sent the message and when she actually views the messages. And I think, I'm only speaking for me, I know when you see the message pop up on the Wizard app, you can see the first sentence. So you can essentially read what it's about and then just not open it and just never respond to it, which I don't understand why you would do that, because when she responds to me, I don't think you'll find a single message in here that's more than 2 hours old that I don't respond to her. If she asks me a question, I give her the answer. That's what we're supposed to do as parents.
Okay.
On 522, where you told me to go, there's messages between me and Parla where she responds instantly, because what happened was Cole had come back from military school. He had been given a boat that had now been sitting down near Waycrawl or Midway near Darien, and Cole had never pulled a boat. He never hooked up a boat to a truck. He'd never had any experience when it came to pulling a boat behind a vehicle. So I'd asked if they needed help, no reply. On the way back, he made a mistake. He didn't hook the boat up correctly. The boat came off the trailer hitch, hit the rear of the truck she owns that he drove. And when it came to my house and I saw it, I texted her and he texted her. And then we texted called the body shop, and I was going to go have it repaired because it was an accident. It wasn't anything that she should be responsible for or him. It was just he had no experience on what to do, and someone should have been there to teach him that. And then she just goes off the chain on me. And I don't know if you want to know the explicit words, but essentially to stay away from her effing truck. And those are all on text messages. She completely avoided the Wizard app at that point.
What page are you on?
This is 1078.
Yo, I'm sorry, but no. I could destroy some cauliflower right now if it was in front of me. I love cauliflower.
Well,
I say in there that you've already texted my personal phone, but I will
Wednesday
repeat my
and
text back to you.
Saturday.
I'm not near your truck. Please feel free to include that text in our court, because I will, or I didn't say I will, but in court, so the judge can see.
Judge, again, Mr. Brigman is not reading the actual.
Please feel free to include the text.
Hold on. Mr. Johnson, finish your statement.
Thank you. So Mr. Brigman just testified that my client said, "Get away from my effing truck." The actual statement says, "Get away from my truck. Do not touch my truck. leave my truck alone. So Mr. Brinkman's just kind of making up whatever he wants to do in these messages. If they're going to read them, they need to read exactly the message.
Okay.
Because they're just making things up as they go along.
All
Read it
right.
verbatim.
Like I said, the
Are you guys ready for a spicy judge? Here she comes.
text message on our personal phones read.
Got it. So you were talking about what the text.
Right, my text messages. That's why I asked her to please include.
Then we'll need to see the text message. Your Honor.
Okay,
It's the highest
so
and best
don't
evidence.
tell me if you have the text messages.
Very well.
Put those in.
Just read what's in Our Family Vision before the court now.
Please feel free to contact or include that text message to the courts. The judge will see what we've been begging.
So you are actually telling her here about the separate text message he's sending you.
Yes, sir.
That's not in Our Family Vision.
Correct.
So what Mr. Johnson just
Okay,
illustrated.
just produce the text message. I don't want to hear any more about it if you're not going to produce it since it's clearly going to be contested.
Sure, yeah, I think it's somewhere in there.
Okay, so what you were referring, what he was doing, Your Honor, was explaining the text message being referenced in here, when Mr. Johnson stepped up and said, that's not what it says.
That's fine. Well,
Okay.
I understand what he was doing. I'm
Okay.
saying produce the text message.
Well, I got it, but they were representing it as if he was reading.
I got it.
Okay, very well. Do you have the text message available?
I need to look through our papers, but yes, it's in there.
Is it in your phone?
I know it's in my phone, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So let's keep going. So when she does respond, does she kind of officially, for Our Family Wizard, once we got this order, kind of for the record, is it different in terms of what she does outside of there?
Yeah, anytime we were to speak or text, it's completely different context of what goes in the message app. Because the great thing about Family Wizard is it will turn red if you're saying things that you shouldn't be saying. That one of the classes that we took on co-parenting teaches you how to speak to the other co-parent and how to not insinuate things, just to say, please stop this, or ask a simple question, ask a yes or no question. So our text messages back and forth between her and I are completely different than actually what portrays in the Family Wizard app.
I never knew that. Did you hear that? In Family Wizard app, if you are writing a text message to the other person that is not appropriate and is not okay, it shows red on you to let you know that you're not supposed to be saying that. I did not know that. Mine would be constantly red if it was me and my husband. Mine would be so red that like the whole screen would be red. That's not appropriate.
I don't, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I just want people to understand that she's not the same innocent victim she portrays to be in court when it comes to raising our children or go off the chain on somebody.
Okay.
Again, I don't make a big deal about it because she's not hurting me.
Very well. Keep going. Do you recall where the examples would be of, for instance, where she waited several months to even check a message?
Now, there's an entire book here.
We'll move on. Go back to where we just were when that whole thing about the text came in.
The next message to Parla was, here's what happened yesterday. Cole drove.
Where are you?
Page 1079.
Yeah, 1079.
5/22/24.
Still on 1078. When you're writing things to her like on May 17th, I'm not sure how to get you to communicate with me about Cole. Why are you writing that?
Because she doesn't reply to me or communicate with anything about Cole.
Well, she never even viewed that one.
I'm sorry?
May 17th.
It's what, when I printed, it was never viewed. We printed these just a couple days ago.
Well, these actually, were some of these printed before the last time?
Oh, this was printed before
Last
June.
year.
So middle of June. So a month.
So it was a month between them.
Right.
If she viewed.
Right.
Okay, very well.
She viewed things in between. That's why I say you can see what some of these messages say.
But this particular stack was prepared back
Before June, yeah.
2024.
Correct.
Okay, and a message from May 22nd, 2024, throughout May of 2024, there's some that say never, she never viewed it, a month later by June when you printed this.
Correct.
Very well. Okay, keep going.
I'm not sure to get you. Communicate was one. Again, after you've already read the text messages, my personal, we've already read that one. The next page is 1079. I went to explain to her what happened to Cole and her truck and the boat. And do you want me to read it verbatim?
It's
I can read it.
Okay. Essentially, I was just saying, here's what happened to your truck.
I just said I can read
okay.
it.
Let's go to 20, which is the more recent messages, and
Oh, it's over. It's not over, but the stream is already over 2 hours, so I had to stop it somewhere. This goes on a little bit longer. We're gonna hear the rest of it tomorrow, and then the mom's gonna take the stand. All right, guys. So I do not stream on Saturday mornings, and I do not stream on Wednesday mornings. Okay, I'm streaming now because I missed you guys so much. I really did. I missed you guys so much. And the reason why the Fozzie's message about this stream is so convoluted, it was because of me. Because when I got home, he's like, text me when you get home, make sure you got home okay. So I got home and I texted him, I'm home. I'm going to stream today. And he's like, no, you need to go to sleep. And I said, okay, I'll try to go to sleep, but if I can't, I'm going to stream today. And by that point, since I said I'm going to stream today, he had already put up that I'm going to stream today. So when he said, go to sleep, and then I replied, okay, I'll go to sleep, he says, yeah, you got to make up your mind. Are you going to stream or not? So that's why it's convoluted. I had him in a circle. I'm going offline now because Fozzie's late. Fozzie's never late. He was here the whole time. But yeah, so yeah, I'm no OJ today because I have to get some sleep before work, and we're gonna double. But tomorrow we're gonna do more of this, and then we're gonna do some OJ. And I hope you guys all have a great day. It's so nice being back. It was absolutely great in Texas. I mean, it was just the best. But we gotta get back to work. We're home now. It was too long away. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming out. And we did our first live stream today on Twitch. And nobody came but me. I was the only one watching on Twitch. But that's okay. It'll get better. Bye, guys. Have a great day. See ya. Be good.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Freedom tales waiting to the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes near a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With each stream, she brings the light. Turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's laugh